It's all about gratefulness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to practice gratitude.
Gratitude in everything we do. But cool.
Let's turn up the positivity. Is that camera recording? Is that camera recording? Is that camera recording? Are you happy in life? Whoa, dude, you okay? You want to talk about anything? You nearly said no there.
All right.
Can I tell you a really cool quote that I heard?
Okay, good.
Oh shit, no, let's start the episode.
All right. Boom. Welcome to episode 41.
Nailed it.
Boom.
Should have heard
Yeah.
Ram. He was just like, it's episode 40 today. And I played him the clip from last week and then go, no, it's 40.
Do you not remember when we were like the episode 40?
Yeah.
That's how I remembered. And you wouldn't remember.
It's a big deal.
Okay,
cool. I just realised I'm still chewing gum.
That's all right.
I can't.
There's a bin.
Yeah.
Boom. All right, episode 41.
4-1.
Welcome to
Director's
Debrief. I was just about to say Diary of the CEO, just because I was listening to it in the car. No, I was listening into the car. He's talking about Huel again.
Is he?
Again, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, do you know what bothers me about that? I'll get onto the quote later.
Yeah.
He talks about it being his new sponsorship. It's been a sponsor for ages, but he's just replaying the same clip.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you next time you listen to Diary of the CEO, by the way, big fan of that podcast. Great podcast.
Yeah,
I'm not going to down talk it at all. But yeah,
such a great listener. Is what he is.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Do you not find that?
I have one gripe.
Yeah.
He has, maybe this is the right way to do a podcast. Sorry, I'm just going to push this because I can hear myself a lot.
Yeah.
Or I can see myself. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, my main gripe with the Diary of a CEO podcast is that he has a narrative of how your childhood shaped the person that you are. Mm-hmm. That's fine. His thing is, how did the trauma or all the negatives in your childhood turn into the positivity that is who you are today? Yeah. As well as, just that. And he edges towards, and I can see some guests resisting that path, kind of wanting to go, well, no, actually, there's this.
Although I experienced trauma that led me to this, that doesn't mean it must be a recipe for success.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, no, actually, what I find is X, Y, and Z. And what I find him saying is, yeah, that's all good and well. Ignore that bit. Let's focus on this bit. So I don't know if he's such a good listener. He's he's a good interviewer. He asks a lot of very good questions. Yeah. But I definitely think he's very focused on pushing his narrative.
That could be true. That's very interesting. But I feel compared to his earlier episodes, I think as a podcaster, I've listened to many different podcasters, and you see that they follow their narrative a lot in the early days. You can see how tunnel vision their thinking is, and how they always try and ask the similar kind of questions, and before they've even said it exactly what they're going to be asking. Yeah. Whereas now with Seaman and a few other podcasters, you almost when someone has heard so many stories, they can't do anything but open up and kind of see beyond. And I think in a world where we all struggle to listen, and I say we all, we do have an issue with listening, right? We're always focused elsewhere, doing stuff, or we've got 5 other things on our mind. I think he somehow manages, considering he's running his businesses, investing, whatever he does, he still manages to spend that entire hour just fully on that person. I don't know. It's just a skill.
No, it really is, because I think it was Simon Sinek who was talking about being a good listener, even on the Diary of a CEO, and how different that is to hearing the words being said. And it made me question if I'm a good listener or not. I don't know if you've ever questioned this, but...
What, of you? No.
No.
Myself, yeah. Lots.
You don't think about me? What is this? No, so you've considered yourself whether you're a good listener.
Yeah.
What do you think is the criteria of a good listener?
Okay, so I think firstly it's the dedication to the conversation.
Yeah, okay.
So it's how invested in you are you in that, and no matter whether you're interesting or not interesting, how dedicated am I to spending the next half an hour being here right now in this movie? And we've got a million other things to do right now. Yeah. I know everyone has stuff to do, right? No one is ever free, but how committed are we here? And I think that's, yes, we have microphones, so yes, there's a lot more drawing us to this conversation. But maybe, if we were just having an after hours conversation, how committed am I to that? And I catch myself doing it where I'm like focusing on 5 other things whilst we're talking or stuff like that. Would I class myself as a good listener? I feel that I veer up and down.
Okay.
It's not that you are something and you continue to be that. I found myself many years ago being a very good listener, very focused. And then as I got more involved in work and life, I found myself almost being a bit more selfish to my own thoughts and giving less attention to others. So I don't think you are just a certain type of person. How about you? What do you find?
I think it's, if I reflect back to episodes where, like podcast episodes where I'm interviewing people, I feel like in my head, I try and take on the challenge of making sure the conversation is interesting at all times. And thinking back to like Luke Tobin's episode, Sam Winsbury's episode, I found myself often I really liked what they were saying. And I found my curiosity growing, but I don't feel like I acted on it enough because I felt like I had a list of research, a list of questions, and I feel like I had to stick to that to make sure I created engaging content. And I think, I just wonder if I didn't have that pressure. We just hit record and we had this open conversation about entrepreneurship, how that conversation would have gone.
Yeah.
So I think there have been moments, like you say, where I don't feel like I've been a good listener. But also, I don't know. This is why I'm asking you. I struggle to see what the qualities are of a good listener, because then I start catching myself in other habits of trying to pick at what you're saying to continue the conversation. So I'm listening. I hear what you're saying. You made some really good points now.
Yeah.
Let's find that piece and dig into it a little bit. Is that a good listener? Is that bad? Because then my motivations aren't necessarily pure. I'm trying to get a good conversation out of you.
See, okay, that isn't such a bad thing. I don't think it is. The issue can be when, say I'm asking about your family life.
Yeah.
And I already have predetermined follow-up questions.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. That sounds like preparation. That's really good. And it is good to do research before a podcast, right? You do need to know a little bit about someone so that you know when to push ahead and when not to. Say something's very sensitive to someone.
Yeah.
It's good to know that so that you ease off even if you are curious. But I think a very good listener allows the conversation to be the controller and not your own predetermined question. So right now, and I think we do this fairly well in a lot of our conversations, where whilst we may have a predetermined topic, we allow the conversation to flow to where it should be, and things like that. Whereas sometimes having the predetermined questions isn't a bad thing, but it really restricts the quality and the depth of what you learn about someone.
I would agree with that.
And I guess that's why people call it small talk, because you never really get beyond a certain realm of what you're talking about. Like, hey, how are the wife and kids? Yeah, all right, thanks. No, but how are your kids? What are they studying? What are their passions? I don't know, whatever. Like, where do you think they're going? Are they going to be a doctor finally? No? Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
You go.
Do you genuinely care when you ask those questions? I guess it depends on who, right?
I do, actually. I do.
Very good.
Because everyone has an interesting story.
Yeah.
What I don't care about is, hey, how are the wife and kids?
Right.
Yeah. That is literally a rubbishy question that I have no interest in going. And when you stop it there, you show how pointless the question was.
Yeah.
I get it. You have to do it in certain scenarios, right? Like, you haven't got time to go into it all.
So you ask Ram, how's the wife and kids? And Ram goes, what's your kid's name? Bob. Yeah, Bob's just made the first team in his school's football team. You're like, that's the bit.
That's the interesting bit. He's like, oh, right, okay, I didn't know he liked football. Did you play football? Like, what's going on? Like, that's actually quite interesting because you feel like you're learning something new. He might say something like, Celtic FC, my granddad used to play for them when they used to be based in Edinburgh, not Glasgow. I don't know, just you're learning. Whereas...
Yeah, because your dad was a Leeds fan?
Yeah.
Which is funny, because I mentioned that I went to photograph a former Leeds footballer at an event. And your dad mentioned he's a Leeds fan. He brought it up next time I saw him. Yeah. And it's funny that stuck with me, because I'm like, how do I know that was like a good quality conversation? I know this seems really terrible to say, but how do I know that was a good quality conversation? And the fact that it stuck this long, that tiny little nugget, it's kind of a good interesting.
And if you look back at any of your weird scientific, not scientific, just knowledgeable things, right?
Yeah.
Your flares, where you know the capital of, I don't know, Zimbabwe or something, right?
Yeah.
No, but sometimes you'll go back to a memory that was slightly obscure. I don't know, like your mate from Cheltenham told you about it when you were delivering a parcel to. Hello.
Yo ho, Sebastian, let's go far away.
Are we good?
Yep, we're good.
We are good.
Okay.
All right, cool.
So I had the thing I wanted to say, and I wanted to see.
Yeah.
You were saying like when you engage memories and activate other things around a story, it becomes more memorable.
Yeah.
I know that mountain rescue, when they rescue hikers, that they can't. There is an electrostatic charge that if a mountain rescue comes to save you and you reach out and you touch them because of the helicopter and everything, they immediately get zapped and die.
Okay.
They have to ground the electricity first. And I know this because my physics teacher in high school used to work in the mountain rescue service. And he used to tell us this funny story of just like he has to shout at people as the helicopter's coming down as he would hand them the rope. They think he's handing them the rope. And he goes, if you touch me, you will die. So he's trying to drop a metal wire onto the ground so that it earths the connection and they can let him up. That was in like year 9.
Wow.
And I still remember that so vividly. And it came up on the exam. I did really well on that exam.
No way. Just because you understood that model.
And he got let go because he...
did something dodgy.
Well, no, I'm with him. There was a kid who was just like running up and down the corridor screaming. And he allegedly grabbed the kid by his like collar and like pushed him against the wall and went, you need to stop doing something. He shouted at him and then let him go, and the parents complained.
Oh, God.
And now we have
parents.
participation trophies.
Yeah.
You know?
This is it, the weak generation.
Yeah.
But okay, so on that memory, right? Like why do we live life? Right? Like at the age of 80, 90, whenever you pass away.
Yeah. Whoa.
What do you want?
18, 19.
80, 90,
Oh, okay.
100, whenever you...
So he's only got a year left, mate.
Yeah, we are telling him he's getting on. Where at that point, right, without getting too deep, one of the main things is you want the best memories of your life, right?
Yes.
And the best memories of your life aren't pointless conversations.
No.
They're not weak, small talk conversations. That isn't going to get you nowhere. I appreciate there's a time and place for that, right? Like the postman comes or something. You're not looking to get into a deep conversation with every single person that walks by.
Yeah.
But when you genuinely are with people and you have the time and you don't have to go anywhere or anything like that, and you're there for the moment, it is about creating proper conversation. It's one of the reasons I hate texting or messaging, even with my close people to me, because I feel it's really hard to create any sense of proper communication. Yes. Have you got the groceries? Yes. Fine. Yeah. Those kinds of things, great. But genuine conversation where you're trying to catch up with someone you've not seen has to be done in person or over at least a phone call. FaceTime, people like seeing their faces, but I genuinely think just hearing someone's voice is enough. And you can really get there. You get on a level. And it goes back to a thing, like you say, where our brains are designed to forget things. That's what they're designed to do, right? They're designed to just forget as much as we can. Yeah. And it takes a certain kind of instance or a story or a memory to kind of
retain,
and maintain. And I think that's what we've forgotten to do. So yes, am I perfect at it? No, complete opposite of it. Yeah. But I am aware that we need to go. And I think
you really like phone calls?
I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I noticed that because you sometimes text me going, "Hey, man," and I'm like, "He's gonna call."
Yeah, yeah, I know. I appreciate it though. Some people, there's a time and place, but I sometimes you'll see me send a voice note. I send voice notes and Slack notifications because it's just easier to. When you're trying to express something, especially when you've got remote employees and so on, and team members, then it's easier to just say what you need, and then they'll easily get it rather than back and forth Slack messages. Like, what do you mean? Oh, you didn't say that.
I don't know why. Maybe I shouldn't admit this. It still to this day takes me forever to hit dial.
Really?
Like I don't like. I need to get over this because I've since realized I've started making more phone calls. You've noticed, but like if I need something done, if I need to call a client or something, I'll just pick. That's something I picked up from you. But for the longest time, I still don't particularly like calling people. I don't like receiving calls.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. Like,
No, it's a fair point. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't love phone calls from everyone. There is a time and place. Maybe,
but I know that it hinders relationships in my life.
It's really strange because you are a person. You're a very confident person, and normally I would express that or think about that with someone who lacks confidence.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Like if it's a choice between a phone call or like literally seeing you in person, I have no problem. Like I wouldn't hesitate about going into. Like I've had a scenario where like a friend I haven't spoken to in like 5 years is doing something cool, and I want to like turn up to that. Like they're hosting a party or whatever, or like a launch thing. I'll totally like text them and say, hey, I want to come to this, and like I'll go. There's no issue with that. I've spoken to them for the years or whatever. I have no problem with that. But I don't know, and I know it hinders. I know for a fact that some people don't call me because they know I don't like phone calls.
Right, I got you.
And I don't want that.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoy speaking to these people. But yeah,
Hold you back.
so many. Yeah, I don't know why. Do you don't? Sorry.
Nah, he definitely doesn't.
You don't. You're too young. You don't like phone calls, do you? Do you?
He's like, what is a phone call?
Yeah, I shouldn't judge so quick, but like,
If it's like someone really important, I can't bother to like email or message them.
yeah, then you'll call. And if you receive a phone call, you're like, yo, what's up? Or you're like, ugh, and then answer. If it's me.
But obviously, if it was someone like I've not spoken in like ages,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Yeah, okay.
Don't get me wrong. For me, like as much as I say I like phoning people, I don't like always receiving calls.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing something else,
Yeah.
right? Whereas with a message, you can come back to it or leave it on unread until you need to come back to it. So there's a time and a place on that. But I think it's a great way. It's good context behind everything as well. So when you're on a message, stuff just comes across differently.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we speak to our remote team members, and I'm just like, are they okay? Are they there? Whereas they're just very blunt on messages, but you speak to them and they're having a happy day and they're doing okay. So it's just easier to check in with people.
I'm actually all right with Zoom and like FaceTime and stuff. I don't know. I feel like if you can catch my full range of what I'm trying to send you, like facial expression, all of the tones of communication. What are there like? There's like 5 or something. Tone, all of the means of communicating something. If you can receive all of them that I'm trying to portray, then I think I'm happy. I think with text messages, I know that there's so much hidden. But you get so much time to craft the perfect message. And same in person. If I say something and it's misconstrued, I know I can always fix it. So I don't get anxious about that.
Yeah.
Via phone call, I don't know. I feel like I don't have enough time to communicate something in a perfect way like you can with a text. And you're also missing half of the message.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's true. It's a strange one. I always find when even now, right, I just had a phone call.
Yeah.
And it would have taken about 5 or 6 emails to get that same translation. Whereas there's something beyond the words that you can get across.
Yeah.
There's like a hidden tone, a kind of a confidence and
telling me you strong arm
relation. I'm not just saying that.
I'm in charge.
You know what I mean. Yeah. But and a great, like, you can add like gratitude behind it as well. Like, I'm grateful for this thing and so on. So, but it's interesting, and I think what we need to do more of, certainly as a company, is get more FaceTime with people.
Yeah.
I think we're learning that because we're in an age where we're competing. We never feel like we're competing against companies or brands or agencies and everyone who they're doing the same thing, sending cold emails, sending this kind of stuff. Whereas FaceTime, building that relationship, not enough are doing. How many people are walking up to new brands on a store in an expo and saying, I want to work with you? It's just not happening. And that's the more and more I get to know that idea, the more I'm like, wow, it's that we're almost thinking the most basic of marketing and kind of client management and gathering is the easiest and the one that's on the table.
I mean, it's after lockdown when we started having more face-to-face meetings, I mean, we put this room together so we could have meetings, and it just kind of resulted in that way. I remember impressions of people that I had changing because suddenly there was so much more context. You can gather so much more context from a face-to-face meeting. Like, it's so much more of a human interaction that, whilst initially I might have had the impression of like, well, this isn't how do I put this nicely? It's not the easiest to get this done.
Yeah.
Whereas when you speak to somebody in person, you're like, oh, I understand. I understand the hoops you have to jump through. I understand your logic, your reasoning, why you put up resistance for this particular idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think speaking to somebody on a face-to-face level is completely different. And like way more productive.
Very good.
Yeah. Can I tell you the quote?
Okay.
We're kind of way past it.
Yeah, but it's interesting.
Mo Gaudat was on the High Performance podcast, which has very quickly become one of my favorite podcasts.
Jake Humphries.
Jake Humphries, yeah. Again, we're going to get distracted here. I love Jake Humphries. Jake Humphries is awesome, and he used to host Formula One, and then he went on to Sky Sports, and I really, I think he did a great job there. And this podcast he has with, I think he's called Damien Hughes, so like an authoritative figure in mental health and psychology.
Yeah.
And they speak to Mo Gaudat. It was the latest episode, and I was listening to that on the cycle home yesterday. And they're talking about the difference between targets and expectations, and the sort of discrepancy of like, if you achieve great things but you're not ready for them, how that can actually be a bad thing. Like, and they use the example of a sushi chef. And they make like the first few weeks, months, or even years of making sushi. If you really want to be the best, they make you just fan the rice,
Right.
and then they make you do loads of what seems like menial tasks, and before you actually get to start rolling sushi, you get to start cutting the fish, you get to start doing that. And I wanted to say this because I think it's really important in our business now, as we are working with some big names, and we want to work with more big names, about how you need to make sure, and the philosophy behind Google. He went into Google and was like, well, we need to do this to generate revenue. We need to do this. And Larry, I don't know his page.
Yeah.
And Sergey.
I think, Sergey Brin.
Yeah. They both said, no, make a fantastic product. And then obviously people will pay for it. That was their whole ethos.
Yeah.
And all of this wrapped around beautifully of Jake, I think, asks, so how do you make sure that you're making a great product? How do you make sure that your foundations are all perfect? And he says this wonderful sentence. He goes, look at the ground beneath you rather than at your target.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if I offered the right context, but
no, I think you did plenty. So look at the ground beneath you, not at your target.
yeah. Look at where you are. Look at where you deserve to be. Do you think we have a great product here at All Products?
I do.
Yeah.
I absolutely 100% do. But I do think there's still a lot of room for refinement and working on it. And sometimes, you can say, we'll get there when we do it. But naturally, we're drawing that, and the clients and everything are finding us.
Yeah.
Yes, we could work harder to make a better product. I think there's a lot that we could learn from that.
Yeah.
That we are trying to focus a lot there when there's a lot of work to still be done.
Yeah. That's what listening to that podcast, I really wanted to ask you. Maybe I shouldn't have done it on the podcast, but like, do you think we have a great product? And I started to think back. I was like, we really do. But as you say, it suddenly starts to unlock certain things that we can fix. In terms of like performance that we deliver, I think we're well up there.
But it's still unrefined.
Well, yeah, suddenly you can start considering like, well, do we communicate in the best way? You know,
this is it. We have our current clients at the moment. Are we giving them the absolute best service we could be? I'd say it's impressive. Yeah. It's not the best.
No. We've never had a client leave.
No.
But do we need to wait for them to leave before?
Exactly. And what I mean by best is not comparing us to any other agency. It's what our expectation of best is. And I think that's attainable. It's just very high.
Yeah.
Very high in the skies. That's really interesting. And
But that's the target.
Yeah.
That's the best is at the target. And as long as you're looking like, what are the core components that I can be doing to fix it? So like, let's say...
Not just saying, I want to be there, and then jumping there.
Yeah.
It's saying, boom, 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 take your time.
Exactly. So let's say to be a better communicator, you want to work towards, let's say the target is an SLA of 2 hours. Any client emails you, report back to them within 2 hours, or any account manager that works with us, or anyone who has any contact with a client replies within 2 hours. If you focus on the fact that one particular account manager replied in 2.5 hours, it's kind of negative.
Yeah.
But if you think, well, actually, since we set that target last week, we were replying back within the same working day. They're replying within 2.5 hours. That's fine.
This is improvement.
Yeah, expectation versus...
Sorry, maybe this isn't where the quote was meant to go, but sometimes it's like, it's not just trying to jump there and say, right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get another customer service manager and they're going to be able to reply in 2 hours. That doesn't really solve the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You're just trying to patch up and say that you can do a certain thing. Yeah. Whereas when you're genuinely trying to create a good product, you're creating a full good foundation where you're saying, right, we're going to make sure this person can manage a few of the issues that we're facing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's a lot of context. There's a
lot
that can be taken out from that quote. But I'm interested, and it goes to something that I keep hearing more and more of, and I thought it was cringe.
Go ahead.
And now I'm really keen, and it's our boy Jeff who he says it a lot.
Big up, Jeff.
Is customer. I've gone blank. What's the obsession?
Yeah.
Customer obsession. I was like, that's so much easier said than done. And of course, we love our customer. Our customers, in our case, we have a few customers. One of the customers being our brands and the clients we work with. You know, that's the relationship and that's the way we treat them.
Yeah.
Are we obsessed with them, like in every matter? And you can say, yeah, but you know, they don't need the obsession. Yes, they do. They want to be served. Think of whenever we've used an agency.
Yeah.
How great is it when we get the absolute best experience from them? They're always attainable. You know, they're always there on hand. They give the best service. They bring the best results. Just outstanding. Aren't you ready to pay them whatever? Do whatever? Yeah.
That's so true because we were talking about this. I did a fist pump as a client gave me good news.
Yeah,
we were trying to get this product back on the market, and they told me they internally they'd work things out. And I did a fist pump, and so a very senior figure was in the meeting. Yeah, and I could swear I saw her smile. Yeah,
the kind of the dedication that you had there is just amazing, and it's so rare that might just be our USP, and we're giving it away to anyone who is listening to this.
Yeah. Give a shit. You'll do it.
Yeah, we need to take that on. Like seriously, how can we be the most customer obsessed on the current clients we have? Yeah, the new clients, all of that, we got work to do. You know, we're working on all of that, but on our existing clients, let's write down everything that we could be doing. Yeah, and go to the Jeff level obsession. Yeah, I don't think that
money will come.
I feel that it will.
You don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ties in beautifully with what we had a meeting with Alan as well, who I think we should have on the podcast.
Yeah,
I think he's got some cool stories.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that's what he was saying. Like, what can you be doing more for your current customers? How can you be making their life easier?
Yeah,
right. Because we were talking about all the data work that we were doing. He goes, no, they should have access to it without even asking.
Yeah,
they should just be able to want it, whatever they want. They could just see.
You know, sometimes when you talk about Google and you talk about these software companies and you talk about customers' obsession or creating a good product, it seems easy. Oh, of course, they have a product. Of course, they can make it customer obsessed. Whereas when you're in service, it's much more difficult. Well, I feel like we're almost this is the most obvious thing we could be doing. And I want to know. I want to find out what it takes to become so obsessed. And to a degree, and the business will come.
Yeah, we've got a week to figure it out. We'll talk about it on the next podcast.
Sounds
good. You have a meeting in 3 minutes.
I do, yes. So. And it's really exciting me. But thank you everyone for listening to episode 41 of today's podcast, Director's Debrief. If you enjoyed what you listened to, please let us know. Comment if you didn't. Anything you didn't like, let us know as well. But try to be a little bit nice. And also like, subscribe, do what you got to do, and we'll see you next week.